Hi there! Today I'm reviewing the new LEGO Monkey at Erlang Celestial Mech set. This set retails for 89 USD and comes with 806 pieces, which in theory isn't that good just looking at the parts per piece ratio. But let's go on to the review. But before I do, I have to ask you to please subscribe to my YouTube channel, as my goal was an ambitious 500 subscribers by the end of the year, but now my new goal is just 30 subscribers. I would highly appreciate it if you do subscribe, but let's go back into the video. Now, as I said before, this is set 80065 LEGO Monkey Kid Erlang Celestial Mech for 90 USD with 806 pieces. This set is the latest set in the Monkey Kid lineup and it released a pretty decent time ago in January 2025 with the mythical creature chillin' as well. Now, I don't really like this mech to be entirely honest. Of all the mechs in the Monkey Kid theme, this is probably the weakest one of the lot. It's not a terrible set though, it's still quite unique. One thing I'll point out is that they're interesting choice of joints. For some reason, it has ball joints on the feet and the knees, but the rest is literally just rotation joints, which makes literally zero sense. What's the point of having only two ball joints but nowhere else? However, I do actually like the color scheme, and from my experience playing Black Myth Wukong and fighting Erlang Shen for more hours than I'd like to admit, this is pretty accurate to what I would imagine his mech looking like, since he does use a similar color scheme. This set is very similar in style to the Neja's Ring of Fire mech, which I reviewed recently, just last week at the time of this recording. I actually really do like the staff, and all the large weapons made for the villain mechs, assuming Erlang is the villain. This one is the second best, since the Azure line does beat it by a small bit, but it does actually look pretty good. The fingers look kinda off in my opinion, since they're dark gray and really just stands out, since the pearl gold really contrasts it. Honestly, this mech is still pretty good since it does have some saving graces, like the absolutely ginormous cape on the back, which is really cool since most sets don't get a cape of this size. And it makes sense that it has one since it's the actual Erlang minifigure does have one as well. Which now that I know Lego can do this, it raises some questions. How come they didn't make a giant cape for some of the other mechs that would use this? Like the Mighty Azure Lion, which is a great set, with the minifigure coming with a cape, but the mech doesn't. Now I get that making a giant pre-molded cape probably costs a lot, but it's not like there's an excessive amount of budget. But I'll go into pricing later. Moving on, I really like the Erlang Celestial Hound design on his shoulder, which looks really cool. And since Erlang does actually have dog, I feel like this is a great way to incorporate him into the set without making a tiny dog mech, which would probably bump up the price point like a solid $50 and bring it up to $130, which would not be good at all. So I'm actually pretty happy with how they did that. Other than that, though, the chest opens up just like what all the other mechs nowadays do. So it's nothing particularly special. There isn't much to be said about this mech other than the fact that it has only stickers, but that's the exact same as the Neja's Ring of Fire mech, which there's actually quite a bit of similarities to that set in here. Overall, though, this isn't a bad set, but it's also not great. But the good thing or bad thing is that it comes with a side build. Except I don't have it for some reason. So I can't really talk about it. But it's not a huge side build anyways. So let's go on to the minifigures. There are 5 minifigures in the set. I'm going to start off from what I believe is the worst minifigure to the best minifigure. So let's start off with the Celestial General. This minifigure is actually quite interesting. I'm assuming he's supposed to represent someone in a Celestial army. But since Season 6 hasn't come out yet, if it ever will, I doubt we'll figure out who this person is. Anyways, it comes with a brand new torso that's actually used on a Celestial General on the Mythical Creature Chillin' set as well, which was a minifigure in the other set of this year. And I actually quite like this a lot. The torso is quite interesting with it having an orange and silver color scheme, but it works really well. I desperately wish this minifigure had some sort of printing on its legs, or at minimum on its arms. It would have felt way more armored up as a result, and it's truly a shame that they didn't do that. The helmet for it is a completely new mold, and I don't really like it too much, but it's not bad. Overall, this minifigure feels like a waste of minifigure slots and doesn't particularly need to be in a set very much. But the next minifigure is Tang. Now, why is he in this set? In these clothes specifically? What happened in Season 6 for them to do this? I guess we probably won't know for a while, if ever. To be entirely honest, I don't like this minifigure at all. The brown really doesn't work for Tang. and especially compared to the other minifigures obtained in this theme, it's pretty bad. In spite of that, though, it does have actually a pretty decent amount of new and actually exclusive pieces made for the set. Like the head here, which was completely unnecessary since the ones we already had were fine. But hey, it still looks pretty good. And the torso, which does actually look good. He's wearing a robe, which makes literally no sense. But it is season 6, which we don't know what's happening in the season anyways. So let's go on to the next minifigure, which is Monkey Kid. I honestly don't like this minifigure at all either. It kind of feels like a generic battle armor, and it's just kind of boring in my opinion. Like, come on. It's like the most generic Monkey Kid minifigure to ever exist. And like, it's really just boring since so many similar variations came out. So let's go on to the next minifigure, which is the legendary Monkey King. Now, this minifigure is actually exclusive, which was really surprising to me when researching for this video, since the torso looks pretty similar to some of the other ones we've gone, but it just looks really similar to the one we got in Nedge's Ring of Fire Mech. In spite of that, it feels better than like 90% of the other Monkey King minifigures we've gone. And while the leggings have also been in Nedge's Ring of Fire Mech, geez, a lot of stuff has been in that set, it fits pretty well. Other than that, though, let's go on to the final minifigure, which is none other than Erlang himself. Now, one of the main issues with a lot of mechs based on minifigures is that they're actually really inaccurate. But clearly, this is pretty accurate. It got every detail of the mech, from the black fabric cape to even the hound designs on his shoulders, which is represented by the shoulder armor. It honestly is really accurate, and the one thing I have to point out is that it's using the exact same hairpiece that Li Jing from the Celestial Pagoda used. And considering how Erlang looks, this is honestly the most perfect thing ever. Like, if you told me that hairpiece was made for Erlang, I probably would believe you. Other than that, though, I have nothing to say about this minifigure. So let's go talk about the pricing. This set retails for $90 with 806 pieces, which is around 11 cents per piece. Look at the price per piece ratio, which is kind of bad. However, holding it in my hands, I don't think it's worth 90 at all. But like having an 80 or even 75 would be much better. I'm gonna have to rate this set a 7.8 out of 10 purely because it's slightly overpriced and it's kind of just basic in my opinion. And now we have finished with today's review of 80065 Lego Monkey Kid Erlang Celestial Mech. I hope you've enjoyed this video, and once again, if you've made it this far, please make sure to subscribe to my YouTube channel. It genuinely means a lot to me, and subscribing shows that people watch my videos and hopefully take something away from it and enjoy it. That's all for this video. Goodbye.